What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to tell you exactly how to know where you'll end up in life. So this video is going to be centered around one key phrase. Here it is. Your outcomes are a lagging measure of your habits. A lot of times, people wonder where they're going to end up in life, what their future is going to look like, and it's actually not very difficult to know, generally speaking, what it's going to look like. All you have to do is follow the trajectory of your current habits to see where you're going to end up. So there's two key questions that you can ask yourself. I'm going to lay out a bunch of categories that these questions are going to be about. But essentially, you can isolate any category and ask these two questions. Am I regularly practicing good habits? And if I'm not happy with the results that I'm getting, am I actively learning how to improve? So some of the more popular categories that you're going to want to ask these questions for, if I had to guess, are going to be finances, health, your social habits, and your integrity habits. Now, those first two, actually, not three, I was going to say three, but those first two are kind of obvious. You probably want to know, if you're going to be wealthy or not, and you probably want to know if you're going to be healthy or not. That's something that's probably at the forefront of everybody's mind when they consider their future. Now, the other two, our social habits and our integrity habits, aren't as obvious, but those are equally as important, and I'll tell you why. At the end of the day, what we want is to be happy. Now, we think that finances are going to make us happy. We think that if we're rich, we're happy. Most people are guilty of that thought, including myself sometimes. But your social habits are going to determine whether you have good relationships, not only with other people, but with yourself. And your integrity habits are going to focus on the latter half as well. What's your relationship with yourself like? And with others. Those kind of go hand in hand. So if you are not practicing good habits surrounding your integrity, that is a very good indicator that in the future, you are going to be, by and large, pretty miserable. So how can you go about good, healthy practices for ensuring you are going to maintain a sense of integrity with yourself? Well, a really good question that you can ask yourself to make sure that you're staying in alignment with your integrity so you're not going to be miserable and you're going to be happy in the future is this question. Am I acting and living in alignment with my core values? That is one of the most important self-reflection questions that you can ask yourself. And I encourage you to ask yourself not only once, but every day, every week, every month, every year. You want to make sure you're acting in alignment with your core values because that is going to be the only thing that actually helps you and lets you be fulfilled in this lifetime. All the money in the world won't mean anything if you got it in a way that contradicts your core values. Sure, you might be comfortable in a nice big house, but you are not going to be able to look yourself in the mirror, let alone feel fulfilled in your life if you're not acting in alignment with your core values and being integrous with what you believe in. So you can take yourself through a little audit and see where your trajectory for your finances, your health, your social habits, and your integrity is going to take you. Because what's the key phrase of this video here? Your outcomes are a lagging measure of your habits. If you're saving less and less money every month, eventually you're going to start to lose money every month and you're going to lose more and more. And then eventually you're going to be broke if you don't change the trajectory of that habit. Same thing with your health. Maybe you're young and you look good now, but if you're not exercising properly and you're not eating well, you're not going to look good or feel good in 10, 20 years. But here's the good part. There's a silver lining in this. If you don't like what you see when you're peering into your crystal ball with this exercise here, if you don't like the version of you that you see in the future, you can change that. It's not too late. Through doing this exercise, what you've done is you've charted a course for where you're headed. And now that you know where you're headed, you can decide if you actually want to go there. If you don't, you can go ahead and chart yourself a new route. And this is a little framework for how you're going to be able to do that very effectively. This is kind of part 2 of this video. So the first part was how you're going to know where you're going to end up. And this second part is how to decide where you're going to end up if you don't like what you saw. And even if you did like what you saw, this is still going to be very beneficial to you, so stay tuned here. The framework to chart your course for life is as follows. Decide who you want to be and reinforce that with your actions. Step 1, step 2. Decide who you want to be. Step 2, reinforce that identity with your actions. Now, the reason that this framework is presented in that way is because a lot of us have this idea that all we have to do to attain a goal is to have the goal and then to work towards it. But if you've ever had a goal and simply looked at it that two-dimensionally and said, okay, I'm going to work toward this goal, you probably know that that's not very success-yielding of a tactic. Did that make sense? I think that made sense. You're not going to yield a lot of success just by saying, okay, here's my goal, I'm going to go attain it. Here's the reason why that doesn't work. If you are currently unhealthy and your health is just declining more and more and you're overweight and you're just gaining more and more weight, you can tell yourself, I have this ideal. Everybody has an ideal. Everybody has a goal. I have this ideal of being strong, shredded, six-pack abs. But unless you change who you are at an identity level, you might work towards that goal for a week or two, and then your motivation is going to drop and you're not going to keep working towards it. It's not sustainable to go about achieving a goal that one-dimensionally. What you have to do is make a change at the level of identity. We tend to work, I'm going to put a graphic up for you here. So we tend to work from the outside in, thinking that that's going to be successful. We have an outcome and we think, once I attain this, then I'm going to be this person. You have to make the change from the inside and grow out. So once you make the change at the identity level, this is why the first step of this process is decide who you want to be. And step 2 is act in accordance with that identity. Because once we decide who we want to be, we're not just somebody who's fat wanting to get in shape. We are now somebody who prioritizes health and being in shape. And now we're going to act in a way that is going to yield that outcome that we were wanting. So if you have a goal, ask yourself, what kind of person would achieve that goal? And then you have to be that person, starting right now. You make a change at the level of identity and you reinforce it with your actions. That's going to help you gain confidence. That's going to help you gain momentum. And if you actually make that change at an identity level, the outcome yields itself. If you change the input, the output changes automatically. It's that simple. That's important to look at it that way. You have to change the perspective on how it is that you're going about accomplishing your goals if you are just looking at it one-dimensionally from the outside working in. Once I achieve this, then I'll be that. No, it's the opposite. Once you be this, then you'll achieve that. Work from the inside out. Change the input. That'll yield the output on its own. So I hope you guys liked this video. I hope you found it beneficial. There's a lot of information here that can help you really rewire the direction of your life. So I hope you don't take that lightly. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a like, leave me a comment, let me know what you thought, and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care. Have a good one.